Hello, welcome to the most interesting podcast about African creatives. Yes, we're discussing the importance and the value of the African creative economy. And as you know, I'm your host, Reta Armandra here, Goddess, and this is So Creative podcast brought to you by the British Council. Today, we are going to be talking about something very, very important. Africa is beaming with African talent. Is the least of our problems. But here's the thing, to be able to impact our economy, the African creative economy, to the point where we can get investors, we need to understand the value. And to understand the value, we need to understand the legal side of things. Like the creativity is, everybody just thinks about the people in front of the camera, but then the people behind the camera are the ones that really understand the infrastructure. And today I'm here with a brilliant queen, Janet Odoye, an entertainment lawyer. Now, before we get to meet her, I have to say a few things. Like when she became a lawyer, she's been a lawyer for 20 since 2020. She's been doing this since for like 8 years now. But in 2020, interestingly, when the creative economy.
Structuring, corporate restructuring, business registration, trademark registration.
Mhm.
And I also have a legal outfit as well, Anet Legal. This is where we do the old music clearances, representing creatives, doing music clearances and all that, music publishing and all that. And I'm also a licensing administrator at the Plug Global Limited in Lagos State, Nigeria. Nice to meet every one of you.
Hmm. That was a very, very solid intro. Like I already told you, it's going to be a very packed one. So let's just dive right into it. Like, why law? Like, what made you decide, you know what, I want to do this? Like, at what point did you decide that you want to do this? At what point did you realize how important it was for the legal side of things, like for creatives to be taken seriously?
Well, like you said earlier, my sojourn into music law started in 2020. That was after the lockdown and all that. So I think there was this issue with Keith Daniel and his former record label, G Worldwide, where he called out his former record label about unpaid royalties.
Wow.
They're not giving him his masters back. All of that, and everybody had their opinion about record labels, music law, music
Wow.
business, legal side of the music business. So I'm like, okay, I think this is something I should explore because I'm more of a creative than a legal person. So how exactly do I want to
That's
do I want to
interesting.
show the creative side by being an entertainment lawyer? So that's how my sojourn into entertainment law began.
So what's interesting is, I imagine that of course you're very young. And at that time there weren't a lot of women, talk less of like young people also like they doing that, like there were not a lot of people doing that. So um I think just to understand you a little better, I would say like now you're talking about how basically seeing an online like squabble got you into this like
Mm-hmm,
space. A lot of people will shy away from that.
mm-hmm,
A lot of people would probably even like be scared. You could have just been like everyone else, like just laughing this off, like, entertainment, but then you were driven to actually do this, you know so I know that you're a brilliant queen, but for the sake of this, like, can we just like, can you introduce yourself again? Like, tell us like what this is about, because I don't think I can do enough justice to everything that's we've just spoken about. Like, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and why this was important for you to get into in the first place? Like, what motivated you? Because they say bold women make history, but like that was definitely a bold move from your end.
yeah.
You know.
So basically, how I got into this, so like the other day, 2022, I was on LinkedIn and so my former boss, Mr. Justin Ige, reached out to me that, oh, he says I'm interested in entertainment law. Okay, let me come and work for him. And that's where I started. And I remember when I went to see him, it wasn't like an interview per se. It was asking me, do you know any collective societies in Nigeria? I was kind of confused. I don't know anything, sir. Do you know this? I don't know everything, sir. So under his guidance, he really mentored me. He would put me into challenges. So I remember that time I hated drafting contracts. I hated contract, but he would insist that I do that contract drafting, and actually got better with that. And he
Hmm.
believed in me a lot. So many cases, so many infringement cases we had to work on against A-list artists, B-list artists. It would
Wow.
make sure he puts me on the team because
Wow.
I'm someone like that likes to shy away from challenge. I like the easy way, but he always makes sure to like put me on things. And I think that actually helped me with confidence. So maybe if there are some cases I feel like, oh, it's too hard, I feel like it's too difficult for me, I don't know how to, but I just tell myself, I've done worse in the past, I've gone through worse in the past. So why won't I want to take on this case? So I think him
Wow.
giving me that push to always make sure I'm in this case or in that case really helped me a lot to understand entertainment law.
Hmm.
So I didn't really like read books a lot then, but I did my research. I go on Google because first of all, you need to understand that entertainment law, it's not a subject that is taught in our universities or in our law
Yes.
schools.
Yes.
Every entertainment law you see in Nigeria had to learn on their own. We
Wow.
had to learn on their, we had to learn through practice, through knowledge, through watching videos, through resources. So if you see any good entertainment lawyer today, just know that
They put
they
in
are
the
very
work.
good
Wow.
because as at then in 2020, entertainment law wasn't as popular as it has been
Become.
right now. So if you are even lucky to learn under someone, consider yourself very lucky. And I was
Hmm.
very lucky to like someone saw me and believed in me and asked me to come and work for them. So from there also I also discovered music publishing and all that. So music publishing is another aspect of the music business. So when a music is created, there is a master's recording and there is a composition rights. So the
Mm-hmm.
composition right is what connects you to the music, the
Mm-hmm.
beats, that beat you like, that melody, the
Mm-hmm.
lyrics, that's the composition right. So
Wow.
so the music industry was more focused on the masters, right? That is the sound recording, the finished product of that composition, what you feel. So like what you play on your Spotify, what you play on your video, on your radio and all that. That's the sound recording feel. So everybody was focused on sound recording, getting their royalties. But then I realized that in 2022, when I got my job at the Plug Global, I realized that so many people didn't have that knowledge about music publishing. So I had to take it upon myself to start releasing content
About around it.
on music law. I always tell people set up your publishing, you have money hanging in publishing. And with that, I think that's raised some kind of awareness in the
Mm-hmm.
music industry in Lagos State, Nigeria. People started getting involved in music publishing. So many artists would come to me to, oh, they want to set up their publishing. I charge them a little fee, of course, and help them set up. And they tell me that, oh, they are getting their royalties, they're getting their royalties. Because if they don't do that, there is something called the black box royalties. So if you do not claim that publishing royalties in 3 years, it goes. You
Wow.
lose that money. So it will
That's
be
so
reshared
interesting.
amongst bigger artists like maybe Taylor Swift or Beyonce. Your money is gone. So it was very important for us music lawyers in Nigeria to educate these artists on music publishing. And that's how I started and actually raised a lot of awareness because people were not really, it's not so many people were doing content centered around music law and music publishing. I had to take it upon myself because I'm the kind of person that when I see a problem, I try to find a solution and also make money from that solution.
I
So
love a
that's
woman
how.
that likes to make money. I
Thank you
love a
very
woman.
much.
Like you've said
So
so much.
mhm,
And the few things that I got from that was one, you definitely, I mean, at some point you said, oh, you don't like to shy away. I mean, you're here on this podcast wearing bold red with a bob cut. Everyone knows that a woman that dressed like this knows exactly and doesn't shy
thank
away from
you.
anything. Like, and you've also spoken a lot about how you had to go out of your way to learn about this.
Mhm,
And that means everything you've learned, yes, thank God that there are people that believed in you, but then I'm sure they believed in you because they already knew that
mhm,
or what you were capable of. And you spoke so passionate about basically just trying to help and figure out how to expand the bandwidth of
mhm,
the knowledge that creatives have.
mhm,
But then like the music side of things has expanded because there is no creative like right now that doesn't understand a little bit about like the music side of things. I mean, whether you're posting on Instagram, whether you're an influencer, because now we have a lot of influencers that also that are also doing music. Like,
mhm,
I don't think that because of how much talent there is like in the African creative economy, you cannot just do one thing anymore. Like a lot of people are doing different things because people have decided to explore all their passions at once.
mhm.
So why is it important? Like what should creatives know about signing contracts, because that's one thing. Like creatives, like they always dream about, getting signed, getting management, and all of that. And we know that the creative industry has like become a huge infrastructure, and the world is definitely paying attention
especially
right now.
Afrobeats to the world.
Yeah, Afrobeats to the world, but I think that opened a whole side of things, because
Hmm.
now, I mean, there's Cannes Festival going on at the moment,
Hmm.
and there's literally very creator focused. Like we have people like Oprah, like everything is focusing on creatives and creators right now.
Hmm.
So it shows that now we're probably like the artists are just a side of the creatives. Like it has now expanded and
Yeah.
everything is intertwining. And now more than ever, creatives need to understand that infrastructure. So why should they what should they look out for, and why is it important for the creatives to understand the value of their infrastructure from a legal standpoint?
So there's this like very popular notion in the music industry in Lagos that record labels are exploitative. They don't have the interest of artists at arts. They mistreat artists. They do this, they do that, and all of that. And we that we are in the entertainment industry, the lawyers that are at the back end negotiating these deals, drafting these agreements, actually know what's up. So I would actually say record labels are exploitative or they are wicked to artists. I would say that artists do not understand the music business, and I don't think they are willing to learn to understand this business side of music because um every 6 months, every 3 months, there is always an artist calling out a record label. The last one was King Madi and a former management company, J Tone and all that. Well, I don't really know the fact of the case, but from what I could deduce, so J Tone, a former management company, actually helped her secure some deals with Boo Vision and Sony Music Publishing internationally. I think they also helped secure a Chloe Bailey feature with so they
Mm-hmm.
actually helped her a lot into developing her. So I don't know, she got to the age of 18 and she was like, oh, she signed that agreement when she was a minor, and under the Nigerian copyright law, under the Nigerian laws, a minor cannot sign a contract, which is actually untrue because if a minor is supposed to sign a contract, an adult, their guardian is supposed to sign that contract with her. And
Hmm.
also there are speculations that her mother signed the contract on behalf of her and all of that, because I don't want to believe that any lawyer would be careless enough to let a minor sign an agreement with the company and all that. And so when she got to the age of 18 years, she's like, oh, she signed that when she was a minor. I don't know who has been talking to her, telling her, giving her so many information, because that's another issue. So many artists, they feed on information from here, from there. Oh, your management is not supposed to do this. Oh, your
Hmm.
label is not supposed to do this, and it gets to their head and all
Hmm.
that, because these people feeding them this information um actually feel they can do better than their management. So that is one of the issues.
Okay, so it seems like one of the major problems when it comes to creatives, because it's not just artists. Like we're focusing on like everybody, because just because you're an artist doesn't mean you're not creative. Like influencers also like go through the same things. The only thing is everybody is scared to come out to complain. I mean, you're an artist, you survive it, you have fans, but as an influencer, you can't really complain as like a photographer, because there are also photographers that get signed. I know I think on Thames label. They have like so there are other creatives that also go through these things, and
Mhm.
people are scared to come up because one, you don't want to get blackballed, and some people just eventually lock up and they just go quiet, and that's how they end up losing their like ambition and their talent and their
Mhm.
light. So what's if you're going to sign a contract today? What are the first few things you should look out for? What's the most common mistake that creatives like experience?
So the first mistake is that some of these artists negotiate this contract from a place of hunger, not on ignorance,
Hmm.
not on knowledge. So there are different kind of contracts.
But how
There
do
is
you balance that though? How
Yeah.
do you balance? Because imagine, like, I am here, I've been singing, or I'm talented, I'm a TikTok dancer, I've been doing this for like years. And some of these people eventually, like, that's their source of, like, like, what's the called? Like income,
Okay.
because a lot of the times, like, the job market is also hard as well. And people just want to be able to shine from where they're, like, from their talent. How do you balance the middle ground between like trying to make money from this and not also like for lack of better word, selling your soul. Because after a while they start tell you, oh, this is what sells. People that a lot of popular things like, oh, maybe dressing a certain type of way, coming off as a certain type of way that is not who you are, changing your name. I mean, you already know there's so many people that end up changing their names, basically like in the bid to appeal, to be more appealing, for all of that. How do you balance that out? Because one, we need to know, like, what are the mistakes, like the most common mistakes. Two, what are the first few things that you need to know before signing a contract? And three, how do you balance out, like, you see that hunger, you
Mhm.
know you need to stay hungry in the game. Like, how do you balance out keeping your identity and still like wanting to make money immediately?
So the one again, apart from what I mentioned about artists and negotiating from the point of view of hunger, they are also interested in quick money. But let me explain how record deals work. So when a record deal is presented to an artist, the record label will drop some funds called an advance. That advance is like a prepayment of royalties that this artist will make over the course of their career or over the course of the duration of the contract and all that. So maybe they can go on with $50,000, even up to $1 million for non artists. So the misconception that is that these artists they believe that the $1 million belongs to them for their personal needs. But
Hmm.
again, there are different kind of advances. There is the marketing budget, there is a recording budget, and there's also the personal advance. So when an artist is presented with a deal and they say it's a $1 million advance, the personal advance that might be going to that artist from that $1 million advance could be $50,000. But this artist believes that the $1 million belongs to them. So from that $1 million, there would be marketing budget. So if they release the song, they have to like do PR, they have to do art and all that. The advance also the recording budget that's to go to the studio, pay producers, pay studio engineers to like work on the song and all of that. So that's one misconception that artists are not willing to learn and understand.
So I have an interesting question. So I did work at a global record label at some point. So
Mhm,
this conversation is so interesting to me
mhm,
because speaking of this, like, I'm just reflecting on certain things. And I guess my question is, because there are times where you've gotten the advance, because
mhm.
obviously a lot of the times, like now, things have changed now, and in 2026 we are still trying to spread awareness and knowledge on how to go about these things. So imagine how it was back then and still till now. So a lot of the times you're told, you know what, like, once you get this, like, you're almost like you're being sold dreams. But I also believe that, like, the team is supposed to make you believe in yourself. And then now they're doing the marketing, they're doing all of this, and they're doing all those things. And then at the end of the day, the singles come out, the marketing strategy didn't hit, and now the artists are left feeling like they have been played, for lack of a better word. And lots of times you see the pipeline of them going and feeling like, oh, I'm on top of the world now. They have better budgets, they have better clothes, you're feeling better about yourself. But then some most times, like, because it doesn't hit, how do they deal with that? Like, what is the middle ground for that? Because now they always feel like they were cheated.
I don't really once again, I don't believe that record labels are exploitative because the person dropping $1 million is believing in you, is believing in your craft.
Yeah,
And
but they don't know everyone else.
they are not even sure they're getting that money back.
Yeah, but they don't know everyone else. So the thing is, so now you are the record label. I am the talent. You've heard my music and you believe in me. So you're giving me $1 million. Now, the money before that $1 million gets to me, it has to pass through different people. Now, I'm not saying that. I think when people say record labels are exploitative, I think like the world is just a very unique place and everybody needs to be aware. I don't think it's unique to just the music industry or the entertainment industry, but people just focus more on that because that's what makes the rounds more often. But my thing now is, you do not really know everything. Like, I'm not going to be able to talk to you directly. So it's mostly the people that are in charge of the $1 million that have been
Mhm.
dropped that you're going to believe. So because of how much, like, I don't want to say non-transparency there is, it is very, very easy for notions like that to exist. So these things are going to have existed before now, they exist now, and they will exist after now. How do creatives protect themselves in the case of this? Like, how do they make sure that the mistakes that were made before, like because this is a conversation that needs to be had by both, like, the record labels, the management teams, and the talent. Everybody needs to know what to look out for because your reputation is very important. If a talent comes out and they say, oh, my record label, the chances that your reputation is also soiled is very high. So how do they go about these things? Because it's a two-way conversation.
Mhm. Yeah, so first of all, another mistake I feel like artists make is they don't try to like get a lawyer when they are presented with an offer, because I remember the Ashake and Olamide case. So when Olamide
Hmm.
gave Ashake his
They're really shaking
contract,
a lot of tables,
yeah,
but I love it.
no,
No,
it's
because
fine.
you have to talk about
You
these
know,
ones because they're
Ashake
already
said it
there.
himself that
Yes.
because Olamide insisted he gets a lawyer to review the contracts, but Ashake was like, "Oh no, there is no need because he wants to sign with Bado and all of that." So that's why once again I said that some of these artists they negotiate from a place of hunger and not from the place of knowledge. Because if they
Hmm.
wanted to negotiate from a place of knowledge, they would have gotten a lawyer, they would have gotten a music executive, and they feel like, oh, they can't access a lawyer. Go on Instagram, type entertainment lawyer. You see about 20 search results on entertainment lawyer. Oh, you feel like, oh, entertainment lawyers will charge you. There are so many of them that will do pro bono, or there's a way where we do it whereby the record label will pay the lawyer that negotiates the
Hmm.
deal on behalf of the artist. So you as the artist can bring the lawyer to
Hmm.
negotiate the deal, and the record label would negotiate, will pay that lawyer, and they will add the money paid to that lawyer to the recoupable advance that they already put down for your career. So from that $1 million to lawyers' fees for negotiating the contract
Okay,
will come
so
out from it.
like
Yeah.
so because aside artists, the next big wave of creatives are also influencers.
Mhm.
How would this apply to an influencer as well? Because there are actually things called like not like sororities, but like influencer houses where like people just say, not like Love Island, but they just basically are an influencer house. So they're like, take this money, you do this. There are so many documentaries of them on Netflix, and of course, I'm not going to get into the details, but like there are also another set of vulnerable creatives. How do they go about that?
So I think first of all, you need to understand your rights as an influencer. We as an influencer, what do you do? You can do your research. How do I protect my right as an influencer? First of all, as an influencer, the first thing you need to do is to trademark your name,
Hmm.
trademark your brand. You are known by this particular name. The first thing you should be doing is trademark your name. Then register a business. You are making money, you are doing business. The CAMA, the Corporate Allied Matters Act, says that you are expected to register a business within 20 days of a commencement of the business in Nigeria. Register
Hmm.
a business, register a company. When you put up that structure in your business, in your brand, people would respect you more. So like when they want to like do they need you for when they need you for a gig and all of that, you be like talk to my manager, talk to my company, talk to this one, because when you register a company or a business, then when you register a company, you are a separate personality from your business. Your
Hmm.
business makes money, but you don't make money. You pay yourself a salary from your company or your business. So you have to have that structure. So when people see that structure, they won't want to like talk to you anyhow or want to like offer you some very funny prices or want to like use you or not,
But
because you
then,
set up that structure.
yeah, but then interestingly, one thing is a lot of people like you said, people just want to make money.
Mhm.
And once you start operating on that level, that means you have to start paying taxes. And some people do not really understand taxes. So what is your advice to people that move that way? Because sometimes it's easier for me to just debit. If you want to pay, it's easier to just pay to, Choma, as opposed to for you to pay into Chi Limited. Because once you're paying into Chi Limited, you have to calculate your tax. Chi Limited has to calculate the tax, so you're getting less money.
So about the tax issue, this is supposed to be about music business. So now I'm going into tax, even though I'm not a
Because
tax
no, but
lawyer.
it is
But
very valid as well because it's also part of the conversation.
yeah, so I understand. So the thing about the tax is that your income for the year, you are not charged for the first 800,000 naira that you make. You understand? So maybe when you make more than that, there will be like a 10% or 50%. You can always do your tax filings on your own online. I think there was
Hmm.
this website. So that's also not an excuse, because I remember there was a time they were telling us to file our tax returns. So I feel like this generation, we should be more open to research and not being open to being spoon fed.
Like fast
Go
life.
online. How do I find my how do I pay my taxes?
Mm,
What do I do? How do I go on ChatGPT? How do I protect my brand as an influencer? What do I need to do?
mm,
What are the structures I need to put in place? But we are
mm.
not really receptive to doing our research online and knowing how to make ourselves better and developing ourselves. Go
Yeah.
on YouTube, how to be a better influencer, how to influence for my brand better. Because the difference between an ordinary influencer or an influencer that is out there is the work they are doing, the structure they are setting up, how they are trying to like make themselves better and be on top above every other influencer. So
Mm-hmm.
there's actually no excuse. There are tax officers everywhere that can help you to file your tax returns for a little amount of money, and that money you are paying to the tax officer comes from the company account, from the
Mm.
money the company is making, not from the money you are making, because that same company is also paying you a salary. And being paid a salary is very important, because if you want to like apply for visa, they'll expect you to like submit some account statements showing that you are a you are a salaried person or
Mm-hmm.
individual. So that's why I'm saying you have to set up that structure and stop making excuses on why you should not set up that structure for yourself.
Hmm. So, this is very interesting because the conversation is so broad, and I don't even think we have enough time to cover
Mhm.
everything. But we hear the most common creative problem or conflicts we see online every single day. I'm pretty sure today at least two or three of them are on there, like globally. But then, based off of the fact that we are focusing on the African creative economy, like why, like what does it mean, and how do people like, what do they need to understand about publishing, like how do people go about that, like what is the one thing that, like why is it that people be going online, they're always fighting, like they're publishing rights, they've lost
Masters,
it,
right?
the master's rights, like what do they need to understand not to get there, how can they, like what is the journey around that, like how do they ensure that, like even after that is, because then like there are people watching right now that probably want,
Mhm.
like like I want to get my rights back, how do they go about that, like from a practical
So
standpoint?
this is actually a very interesting topic, because that's one of the bone of contentions when artists come out to call out the record label. So you need to understand that under the Nigerian Copyright Act, Section 108, the author of a sound recording is the person who made the arrangement for the existence or for the production of the sound recording. That's me paraphrasing it. But you as an artist, you are not dropping the money. You are not dropping the means. You are not getting the producers. You are not setting up the recording studio. You are not paying for the apartment where we are doing the recording camp. The
Hmm.
label is dropping $1 million budget to create that masters. How exactly do you want to eat your cake and have it? You are not dropping money for that masters. How exactly do you want to own the masters? And the Nigerian Copyright Act is clear that the owner of the masters is the person who created the masters. If the label drops a 1 million budget, paid producers, paid sound recorders, sound engineers, paid for this to make sure that that masters come to, according to the law, they own that masters for
Okay,
life.
I
So there is no
understand that.
reversion of masters under the law.
I get that, but
Yeah.
you're speaking from the business structure side of
Mhm.
things. So I'm speaking now from a like a creative standpoint, right? In the event that this has happened, now the record label or the management has said, I will give you A B C D E F G, and I'm bringing X amount of money. Now, and they also obviously, and these things, what is interesting about it is usually given a time frame. And they're saying, yo, I'm going to give you all these things. And within 3 years, 6 months, 6 months has passed. You're giving me AB. Where is this EFG? Where are all these other things? And then, you demanding for it. In the process of fighting all these things, it now becomes like almost like a lost cause a lot of times for creatives. And of course I did a lot of research, like because I wanted it to cut across a lot of things. Like so people that are listening also can feel represented. And I understand this, but like what do you do in the event that that now happens? Because again, a record label or a management that can drop 100 million or $1 million, you can't, the chances that you're going to win if you take that case to court is very very slim, because one, do you have the financials to go against them? You don't. Because a lot of times, like, do you understand where I'm coming from? So
Mhm.
how can the creatives like fight for themselves, protect themselves in a way that doesn't like drain them? Because a lot of times you just find that after, most times after, like you have to be a very strong artist, like, and a very talented, like so your fan base is strong for you to actually like survive these things. A lot of times it just becomes a beef. Like now you're now in a beef war. Now you're now doing all these things. Like what can they do to ensure that this messiness doesn't like happen in the first place?
So, like I said earlier concerning influencers, do your research online. So many artists, they are not so involved in the music side or the business side of their music. They are all about music. But if you are making money from your music, you need to be interested in the business side of your music and
No,
all
but
that.
you know the thing is, teams change. For instance,
Yeah,
now
I
your
understand
for
you.
your company, like you're handling a bunch of other things. Like yes, we have competent staff and everything, but the team that was available, for example, let's just say Ashake, the team that was available when Ashake's release came out, might not be the one that is there when Reta becomes an artist.
But
So
the company has their records.
they have their reputation, but a lot of times, like the humanity like side of things, like, because that's the things, like, yes, you're a brand, yes, the law said this, but the humanity side of things, like, how do you
So
protect yourself from that as a creative?
protect yourself from what exactly?
So like I said, like a lot of the times, like when you now go and check like the infrastructure behind the scenes with
Mhm,
like management and all of that, you find that the person that is at the receiving end of it ends up being the talent,
mhm,
ends up being the artist, ends up being the influencer.
mhm.
So you could have still done all your research. You could have still like read every single thing like there. But again, it is what you see
See,
online.
I think what you are trying to do is that you are trying to infantilize and victimize artists, but artists are not the victim.
No,
I'm
they are
sorry to
not.
say they are not the victim
No, I'm
because
not trying to say that,
the
but this is
the
the
company dropping
reality.
$1 million, they might not make their money back, and that money can go to a loss. So they have to make their money back. So that's why I'm always saying that don't infantilize artists.
No, but in
Because
the
the
event that
company,
they
it's not
don't
like I'm
get,
signing the company or anything, but don't infantilize artists because you as an artist, if you are going to sign a record deal, you should only sign that record deal or be in that label because of the exposure you
that they are
are
going to
getting
give you.
and the momentum you are going to get being related to. Because see Arya Star maybe now. If Arya Star was all about, oh, they didn't pay me my royalties, I didn't get my masters back, they didn't do this, they didn't do that, we should be as big as this. See Rema, his contract expired. He had to like sign a new contract with Maven. If he wasn't getting that exposure and momentum from Maven, would it be this big? So these artists, they are going from the way, oh, I'm a victim. Oh, they are not doing this for me. They are not doing that for me. But why are you going into that record deal thinking that, oh, you want this or you want the money or you want your masters back? Go there because you want to get that momentum. You want that infrastructure to
Hmm.
build you. So see people like
Hmm.
Ruja, see people like this artist that Ruja, this artist that left their record labels and started their own record label. Do we still hear about them? Because you cannot compare being an independent artist to the kind of infrastructure a record label brings, the money, the contacts, the
Hmm.
manpower that they employ to their company to be able to represent your interests,
Like I
the
get that.
pitching. So you
I
can't
get that.
compare.
So what you're basically saying is that you can't go in just focusing on just the money. You have to focus on all the other things that it brings to you. So
Exactly.
in the
So that's
event
why I
that
said
out
once
of
again, they negotiate from a side, from the part of hunger, from a space of hunger.
so in the event that out of the 10 things that you were supposed to get, right?
Mhm.
You only get like 5 or 6. What's like what would you advise? Because a lot of times your options are now, you either now have to come online or start like a legal war that you most likely won't win. What do you advise? Because
Yeah, so I think I would advise you to get a lawyer because so now let me talk about recruitment of advance again. So I think this is where you also this part is what you also know like.
no, but apart
So oh
from,
no, hold
because
on, please.
artists get advance, but other talents like photographers, like makeup artists, influencers, they don't get advances. You're literally just based off of like a contract that
Because
doesn't
these people
always
are
have.
service contractors.
Exactly.
They are contractors, they are not
Exactly,
musicians.
exactly. But in the event that like, but then you're also promised some things as well, like your
Promise like
contract
yeah.
promises. Well, like just to shed light,
Mm-hmm,
because like I said, I did my research and I wanted
mm-hmm,
to make sure that everybody is like. So, for instance, you're promised that your makeup artist,
mm-hmm.
you're going to get 20 bookings a month, or we're going to make sure that once a month you get to make up like the biggest like artist in Africa, those type of things. 3 months have passed, you've gotten only 2 bookings. 5 months have passed, and now you're tied already to them for say 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't even do that. You can't do any other thing
Mm-hmm.
outside of that. And in the moment that you're not making enough money to even be able to take them to court.
Mm-hmm.
So in that moment, like,
Mm-hmm.
what do you do? Because at the same time, you're also aware that, like you said, not everything is about money. You also need the contacts. You also need like the leverage. what do you do, especially if you're starting out? Because a lot of artists actually, even though like they have advanced, this is actually the realities of their lives. Because, like you said, the money is not exactly going to go to them.
Mm-hmm.
So whilst people are working on other things, like what do you do?
Yeah, so basically, so what you're talking about is a particular clause we put in agreements called a minimum commitment. So in this
Mm.
kind of clause, we tell the artists that they're expected to record a certain number of masters, maybe 2 albums, 1 EPs, in exchange for the advance that is being dropped and all of that. So we as music lawyer, the way if you are going to represent the artist, the way we represent the artist is that we are going to like put a clause which says that within a period of time, like within 6 months after the company has accepted the recorded tracks, they are to release that song within 6 months. That's like a release clause and all of that. And if they don't release that track or the records within that period of time stated in the agreement, the artist has every right to terminate the agreement.
Hmm.
So that's the best way. If you go to meet a solid music lawyer to represent you, that's the best way the music lawyer can protect you and
Mm.
all. But if there's not such clause in the agreement, the
Then.
label is bound to waste your time. They will just shove you and all of that. So that is why, again, as a lawyer, I'm sorry, as an artist,
Mm-hmm.
you need to get the knowledge. Speak to a lawyer, speak to a music executive when offered a contract. So the lawyer will be able to see all these things, all these lapses, all these loopholes, and know how to protect you. And once again, some artists they like to use the lawyer the record label uses. See, let me not deceive you.
Keep it
If I were
real.
representing a record label and
You
I'm
represent
also
their interest.
I will represent the record label's interest more because they are
Interesting.
paying me more than you,
Mm.
the artist. Don't
Mm.
make that mistake.
Mm.
Just go and get. Don't even tell them. You even try to provide a lawyer for you. Just
Don't.
it's better you just go and
But
get
you
your
see, this
lawyer.
is interesting because, like, on the real, right?
Mm-hmm,
There's some people that, oh, like for instance, now, like hypothetically speaking, so now you had people that went ahead of you. They've put you on,
mm-hmm,
they've everything, and along the line, you now found out that, it's not what it is, and now your next line of action, like from a purely logical and reasonable standpoint, is to go legal.
mm-hmm.
Because once you go legal, it automatically becomes Game of Thrones war. Because you now know, and some people like, so what's your advice to the people pleasers or people that might like, oh, I don't want to shake the table, or like, I don't know how to go about this, I'm too scared. Like, because a lot of creatives end up moving in fear. That's the
Mm-hmm.
truth. Like, and they're too scared to come out because you're not like, and weirdly enough, even though people don't like talk about this, the blacklist is real.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody will sympathize with you. Oh my god, because that's another dark side of being the victim creative. Like
Mm-hmm.
artists will be like, oh my god, what you're doing is bad. Da, da, da. But the general public and everyone else is now going to see us. That's the one that people don't want
No,
that
the general
pity.
public actually tries to like
But it's because it's entertainment. It's
support
entertainment.
the artist more
Nah,
than the record
no, but
labels.
it's entertainment. Like,
Mm-hmm,
because it's really just tea. It's
mm-hmm,
just tea. Oh my god, do you know what happened? Oh my god, do you know what happened? And then they're gonna move on, and
mm-hmm,
they're going to be forgotten. And then somehow you're blacklisted because, like, some other people might be like, oh, see, this could have been something that they resolved in and like in-house.
mm-hmm,
Could you have? Because, and the thing is, once you start this war, is because you're a creative. Being a creative means that you're already highly emotional because
mm-hmm.
creativity is fueled by emotions. So now you've now come online and you've now done all these things. Da, da, da. So you now don't even know where to stop because now it's like, I have to win this. Now it's not. What is your advice to people like that? Because some people don't like wahala.
Well, I don't actually believe in social media call outs. Get a lawyer
But
to
what if you can't
advise you.
afford one?
That's once again, there are so many lawyers
Pro
willing to
bono.
do pro bono. So that's not an
Hmm.
excuse. There are
Hmm.
so many
How do you
lawyers.
how do you approach that
So, like I
conversation?
said now, like you can go on Instagram, you can go on. There are so many entertainment lawyers. Just explain yourself to them. Oh, please, I don't have money for this, and they'll be willing to help you because as a
Hmm.
lawyers, even though we are expected to like charge
Mm-hmm.
enough remuneration for our work, you're also allowed to take off free jobs. So there are so many
Hmm.
lawyers that can do pro bono, but you are
Hmm.
not doing your research They're not trying to reach out to this kind of lawyers to
You're
help
just
you.
defeated.
Exactly. So that's part of being spoon fed again. Do your research
That makes
too.
so much sense.
So you guys can go to court and everything and get a lawyer on pro bono, go to court and fight it out. So at least King Madi and our former management company, they are also in court right now. But I don't even think that would even make King Madi blacklisted, because both parties think they are right in their
No,
own
but King
rights.
Maddie is King Maddie. I mean, she's
Exactly.
King Maddie. She's
So,
out here giving us
so
like,
yeah, so this fear of
so
being
it's like,
blacklisted, I don't really believe in that.
but King Maddie is big. She's
Exactly.
huge.
No, see, there's something I believe in destiny. If God has destined you
To be great.
I don't
Nobody,
think nobody can stop
yes.
you. Nobody can blacklist
Yes.
you to the point where. So if I was blacklisted, you think I would be on this platform?
Of course not, because like you're a queen and you definitely know your onions.
So everybody has that God factor where they feel like they make human beings their God. So that's why they are scared of blacklisting.
Yes.
But
Speaking
if you're
of
making
which,
God your own God, you don't care. If you feel someone has wrong, you take them to court, you win or not, and you still do what you want to do.
I feel like because you're a lawyer, it's easy, because lawyers is win or win. There's no win or lose. Like, and it's easy for you to say this. But then I feel like you're very right. Like, creatives need to have more of this mindset, because if you keep playing, oh my God, I'm the victim. Oh my God, see what happened to me.
If you don't hold people accountable,
they'll do it to the next person.
Exactly. And again, our society is not like a litigious society. Everybody likes to leave it to God.
Yes, like God will judge you.
Maddie,
but sometimes take it to the court and let them be judged.
King Maddie is fighting it out. She's calling out her management company on Instagram, and yes, because she's within her right, she feels she's right. Jayton things also feel they are right in their own rights, but let's leave it to the court to decide.
Speaking of rights, that's one thing that is still a foreign language to the African creative economy. Is like, you just think, oh, you're so talented, oh, that's mad, oh, you got 100 likes. But when it comes to intellectual property and like intellectual rights, that's one thing that we really need to understand. So beyond musicians, like from filmmakers, creatives, because we've mostly spoken about people that mostly get in front of the screens, but like there are people that go through a lot. Like, because we've also heard about stories like, I'm not gonna name names, but then people come out and like, oh, you stole my story, you made a movie about it. So beyond that, like the designers, photographers, like what intellectual property lesson or intellectual right lesson should everyone like always remember?
So under the Nigerian Copyright Act, copyright protection is automatic. So if you create a piece of work and the copyright law says this work falls under what we can protect, the Nigerian Copyright Act protects that work automatically. So you don't have to go do extra. So if I create a piece of music, so this video now, the end product of this video, it's protected automatically, because under the kind of works that are protected under copyright audiovisual works, there is cinematography audiovisual works, there is sound recording, there is musical works, there is literary works, and some other things I can't remember right now.
So basically, you can only get this right if your business is registered.
If your work falls under the kind, not business, please.
If your trademark, because I'm trying to like join it, because what automatically qualifies you for that? Like, is it only when your name is trademarked? Is it only when your business is registered?
I'm talking about your work. When I mean your work, maybe
like say music, like a piece of work.
Music, artwork.
So everybody has a right to this. Like,
exactly,
every
if you
human
create a work that the copyright law says it's protected. You enjoy the copyright protection, and that copyright protection is automatic. But if you want to take things up notch, you can go to the Nigerian Copyright Commission and copyright that work. There's a difference between copyright and trademark.
What qualifies you for copyright? I think that's
copyright. So if you create a piece of music, so this video right now is a piece of work under audiovisual work. If you write a blog, write something online, that's a literary work. Any kind of thing. But you see this dress you're wearing, it cannot be copyrighted. It will fall under patent. The jury, it will fall under patent. So intellectual property is broad. There's copyright, there's trademark, there's protection. So for example, now your name, if you feel your name is unique to you, you trademark that name. You can't copyright the name, you cannot patent the name. Intellectual property is very, very broad, and copyright is just like a subsection of intellectual property. So if you feel like your trademark too, if you have a unique name or you have a unique slang, go to the trademark office and trademark that name to be protected.
I love that.
But that doesn't apply to the copyright doesn't apply to trademark. Trademark, there is no automatic protection on that trademark. It's only for copyrights.
Okay,
But if you
so
want to take, yeah, yeah.
like this sounds a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
what like beginner friendly practical steps can creatives take to ensure that their intellectual properties are protected in order for them to become successful and for them to actually build financial wealth?
Okay, so what I advise my clients, first things first, register a business, register a company,
Register
because
a business, register a
your
business.
company outlives you. Your
Yes.
company
I
outlives
feel
you.
like a lot of creatives, just in general, not just like artists, people don't really focus on legacy as much, and it's a
Exactly.
big problem for the creative economy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a big problem. So it's so interesting and so nice that you said that.
Mm-hmm.
Create something that is bigger than you. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
in the next 10, 20 years, this interview will stand and it will
Mm-hmm.
still be valid.
Mm-hmm.
Educate yourself. Educate yourself. African creatives, educate yourself. Like, that's the whole point of the So Creative podcast. Like, the British Council definitely wanted more educated, more wealthy, more like globally like accepted talents, because we really need like
Mm-hmm.
more investments, and we cannot start getting those like huge investments if we do not actually pour into ourselves. Read, because we're offline, we're just talking about how
Mm-hmm.
everybody wants to do the
Mm-hmm.
TikTok, and it's not bad. I mean, life is serious, but read. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
so like,
so
so first of all, register your business.
register a company, register a business.
Mm-hmm.
Then you are going to use your business name or your company name to trademark your name. So you can
Mm.
have your own business, you can have your own company called Oluwadarasimi,
Mm-hmm.
but you are known as Darasimi
Mm-hmm.
online, a very popular influencer. So
Mm-hmm.
you use your Oluwadarasimi Limited to trademark the Darasimi name. So your
Mm.
Oluwadarasimi company owns the
So
trademark
it's
to
like the
Darasimi,
umbrella
because
company.
yeah, because God forbid you can buy tomorrow, your company still
For
lives
those that
on.
are watching, pie tomorrow means you can die tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I don't want to say die online. So your company still lives on after you are gone. So the name belongs, the trademark belongs to the company. So if you create a piece of music, you create a piece of, you use your company or your business name to register that copyright.
Hmm.
So these are so much steps. Patent to do, also use your company, because your company outlives you at the end of the day.
So what do you do when you find out someone is using your work without your permission?
Yeah, so the Copyright Act as well also protects it protects you from being infringed and all that. So first of all, you go to meet. I don't support social media call out. Once again, I don't
Yeah, I
support
think
it
it's
at
it's
all.
kind of tacky.
Yeah, it's actually very tacky. So best thing you can do is go meet a lawyer. I already told you that you can get your own lawyer. Go meet a lawyer, explain to them. Even though the lawyer might not collect upfront, they can say, okay, if we have to take this thing to court, whatever damages the court award, I will get a percentage. That's another way to
Mm.
pay your lawyer. If you don't have the money to
Hmm.
pay a lawyer at that moment and all that.
Okay.
So the lawyer will send maybe a cease and desist. They have to like file an motion ex parte in
Mm-hmm.
court. That's an ex parte in motion that does not put the other party on notice that they brought this action against them, to like seize any infringing materials, to
Mm-hmm.
bring down. So in this King Madi and Jayton's case,
Mm-hmm.
so Jayton said they got an order from the court to bring down the songs King Madi released under her own label, because she still has some obligations she needs to fulfill under Jayton. So that's
Wow.
another kind of motion, or another kind of relief you can get from someone infringing on your work.
Hmm.
So
So
there
we
are
have
so
it.
many ways.
Yeah, like it's so interesting. So we have a question from the audience,
Mhm.
and it says, I didn't get okay, the name's not here, but it says, if there is a pandemic of artists misunderstanding the legal terms of their agreements, because it's
Mhm.
just interesting. If there's a pandemic of artists misunderstanding the legal terms of their agreements, then shouldn't the lawyers writing the deals improve on the legal language and remove any flaw from contracts?
I don't
Hmm.
think we owe a layman simpler English when we are drafting agreements, because we spent 5 years in university, we did 1 year law school, we went for youth service. So this is something we were taught all our lives. So I feel like the best way you can go about this is to get your own lawyer. Let the lawyer sit you down and explain to you. of which there are so many testimonies from lawyers that even though we do this kind of thing, we sit the artist down, we explain these terms to them, they still go back again and say, oh, we are cheating them, oh, we are not doing what we are doing. So to be very honest, you can't do so much with educating artists, even if you make sure the contract is readable and explained. Are they ready to go through a 10 or 20 pages contract to understand what the contract says?
Hmm.
Nobody is ready for that.
So basically, the problem that we have, like the problem that we have, like primarily, is that people aren't paying enough attention to the education
Mm-hmm.
of, like, they're not paying. Well, fair enough, because that, like, the last guest also said the same thing. Like, we need to read more. And if this is our second guest and she's saying the same thing, different gender, different field, different race, then we know that the, like, one of the biggest pandemics we're actually facing with the
Illiteracy.
is, like, yeah, like, it's not even illiteracy, because we know a lot, we just don't know the right, like, we just
Mhm.
don't know, like, enough. We know a lot, but we don't know enough. And I think we need to know a lot more, because we are doing a lot more on screens. We're literally taking over. It's almost like we're the ones that are in front, but then
Mhm.
at the back, we're not the ones pulling the strings. And we
Mhm.
need to start pulling the strings. And which is why we need to understand this. But looking at the creative economy today, what's the biggest legal or business risk that young creatives are overlooking?
Yeah, so I think the business risk is that they are not protecting their brand enough legally. They are not protecting their brand enough. So there's an influencer, the person has been growing, and all of a sudden they blew up and all that. So rather than take care of the legal side of the business and make sure that everything goes on smoothly, they still go on naked, not naked
I
literally,
understand what you
but
mean. Like,
they are not
they don't protect
protected.
themselves. They just
They are
enjoy
not
the fame.
protected and all that. So because I remember there was this influencer that I was representing that time that had some kind of issues with their management company. And the issue is that there was no signed agreement between both parties. It was just an oral word of mouth
What?
and all of that. So that was a very big
People, like, was
issue.
this like recently or like back
Like
then?
last year, it was a
That's very
very big
recent.
headache. It was a very big headache to me because you see what I had to do. I had to fight. I had to stress myself. They decided to make me look like a problematic
No, but
lawyer.
lawyers always get bad PR.
But
Like,
no, that
lawyers
was
always get
actually
bad
good
PR.
because immediately I stepped in and I put pressure on them. They released the influencers' money immediately because they didn't like the way I was attacking them. Like they were really scared.
If I ever had issues, would you represent me?
Of course,
You
for
heard
the
her.
right
You heard
money.
her.
So they were really scared. So that's why, once again, I always advise influencers, creators, get that lawyer.
Hmm.
Because there are sometimes some creators come and say that, oh, I did a song, da 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 da. They've not given me my speed. They've not given me. I'll tell them that your lawyer said they should send you your splits. Watch out
Hmm.
immediately. They are sending agreement because they don't want a lawyer's problem.
Hmm.
You
Okay.
understand?
So we have
So
more. We have someone. Her name is Ree. I mean, my name is Rata, so I'm obviously going to take hers first.
mhm.
So when someone uses your work but writes in brackets no copyright infringement, yet it's still your work, how do we go about it?
Yeah, so basically there is a defense. So the thing about copyright is that it gives you, the author, the person that created the work, moral rights and economic rights to use the work. So the moral rights is a right to link you to the work. That means to credit you as the author, as the owner of the work. And the economic rights is the right to allow third parties to commercially and publicly use those works in
Mhm.
exchange for compensation to you.
Yeah.
So do you understand moral rights, economic rights? Economic rights is like the money making side of copyright, allowing people to use your work while they pay you for it.
Like on Instagram, how
On
we can use
Instagram,
people's
exactly.
okay.
So, but there is a defense to copyright, which is fair usage. So maybe someone takes a piece of your work and use it maybe for comedy, for news reportage, for any some little thing that would not necessarily make money for the person using it. The law permits it to an extent based on some guidelines.
Hmm.
So in the case of Instagram, for influencers, in the case of Instagram now, so I want to explain something to you.
Okay.
So Instagram, social media apps, they get a blanket license from some organizations we call collecting societies.
Okay.
So these societies represent the rights of artists and songwriters.
Okay.
They represent the rights, so they help them to track where their song is being used, collect royalties, pay them their royalties. So Instagram gets a blanket license, like that license covers the whole catalog that organization is representing. So that's why you are able to use that song on Instagram, and they
And
won't
that's
bring
why
down,
sometimes some songs are not
they will
available
say it's not
anymore.
available in your territory because they don't
I
have the license. And even sometimes when you add a song to your video and you
sometimes
didn't
it
get the
goes
song,
away.
it goes away and all of that. And even though sometimes they will tell Instagram will tell you that they are bringing down the song, they are muting the song because you don't have the right. So you as an influencer, if you want to like use a song, you are supposed to like declare to Instagram that it's a paid sponsorship. Sometimes you're supposed to tell Instagram that this ad is a paid ad because I think Instagram is supposed to charge you on that ad so they can pay the right owner for using that work,
I
that
see.
song
I
in your
see.
content.
I
So
think
no
same thing goes for
copyright
YouTube.
infringement. So no copyright infringement is not a defense if it doesn't fall under fair usage. So
Okay.
that's why we have issues of where so many influencers use a particular song and then they take down the song. Or if it was a litigious society or country like US, I
Mhm.
know there are particular companies that Spotify or Universal Music, that's one of the big major companies, take these companies to court because one of the influencers they used to promote their product used a song from the Universal's catalog and did not clear before using that song.
Like the A&R.
So they have to like take that company to court for copyright infringements.
Hmm.
So Nigeria is not that kind of country. So that's why we can do
Everything is just
anything, everything works.
anyhow.
Even though the content you are doing is a paid ad or it's a sponsorship, you won't tell Instagram is a sponsorship too. Instagram now takes down your page and you start crying that Mr. Mark,
Let's not get into Instagram
Mr. Mark
pages
has,
getting taken
because
down.
these are the issues. So now, because if the owner of the song, like this person asks now, no copyright infringement, reports to Instagram, you might lose your
Your
page.
page. Yeah. Fair
That
enough.
post is going down.
Hmm.
So once again, you need to understand that although there is a defense to copyright, but no copyright infringement is not enough defense. If that defense does not fall under fair usage, that's for news reportage, sarcasm, satire, comedy, and all of that.
Well,
So
that's
you can always
interesting.
report to Instagram or send them a cease and desist to stop using your work in their content.
I love that. That's very, very in depth.
Mhm.
So we have another one from Ebenezer Bomama. I hope I pronounced that right. He says, I'm a photographer from Kenya and I want to understand how young creatives can access international exposure, mentorship, funding, and partnerships to develop their talent and create impact through photography. Before you answer this, I think you should also watch the first episode because it covered a bit of this. It covered a bit of like funding, spoke a bit about funding, partnerships, and all of that. So with Danonok, and it was very, very insightful. So you can definitely go on there and watch that. What's yeah, over to
Yeah,
you.
so first of all, I would advise you to put yourself out there. So because so many music
Everybody
creatives
says put
now,
yourself out
no,
there,
because
like
so
put
many
yourself on a
music
billboard or
creatives, no,
something,
no,
because that
no. Let me explain. So if I didn't put myself out there, do you think British Council would have invited me on this podcast?
nah, girl. But you know your onions though. You put yourself out there and you knew your onions, like you were saying the right things, doing the right
Exactly.
things,
That's
because people
part
just
of
believe.
putting yourself out there. Because so many creatives right now, they are more of I'm trying to be mysterious. But mysteriousness is
The
only
funniest
for
thing I've seen on the internet is you're too broke to be mysterious.
exactly. So many music creatives right now they don't do contests. I remember that time when Burna Boy the
They
big
call the
three
cringe.
controversies. You remember you see one time that Davido went to the club, went to Proxy Club with 6 Ferraris. Everybody starts talking, buzzing. That's part of putting yourself out there. You when one news that
Yes.
Burna Boy
Yes.
did something to someone, even though
Yes.
that is a crime, you
Yeah.
still putting yourself out
Yeah. What do
there.
you mean
But
something? Do you want
if you
to?
are too laid back, oh, I don't want to do too much. I don't want people to think you are doing too much.
Mm-hmm.
Davido is Omo Baba Olowo, but
OBO
he's still
number
working like
one.
he's broke.
Like you see, staying hungry. Yes, because I also saw something last week. There was an interview with School of Hard Knocks. With what's like the richest man, Dangote, and he was basically saying visibility is a strategy. Like put yourself out there. You see, there's something so interesting. Have you seen the way food vendors? I'm talking like food vendors. Like I'm not
Mhm.
saying like oh like fine dining. Like
Mhm.
they're probably just selling like banana bread, like
Mhm.
meat pie, like they're showing up every day and you're looking like, is it more than
And also,
this?
I also believe you can utilize the LinkedIn app. You can just
That's
write
one. That's the
something
most
very
slept
short.
on. That's the most slept on like
Exactly. You
platform.
can just write something very short about something you did for a client. Oh, I did this graphics for a client. I did this flyer. This is how I
And
did it.
tag the client on
Before you know
there,
it, people are
paying
messaging
attention.
you.
Yes.
Oh, would like you to work on this. Before you know it, your post goes viral. Someone discovers you. Okay, are you interested in this
Mm-hmm.
position? So mysteriousness does not actually work in today in 2026. If you are
Yeah.
not hungry, you cannot do
You
this.
cannot. You have to stay hungry
You have to stay
forever.
hungry. If the video is still grinding, who am I not to grind?
If when they say what did they say? Dangote still they find money.
If Boy with how much he has, he's still out there saying things, doing controversies, making people talk about him. He's proud, he's this, is that, African giant, African giant. We
Mm-hmm.
see him as,
Odogu.
because he put himself. Okay, remember the old Coachella issue that they
Mm-hmm.
put his letter, his name in small letters, and it was like, oh, he's an African giant. He cannot put that didn't stop Coachella from saying he shouldn't work, he shouldn't perform now. He still performed at Coachella
Yes.
now.
Yes.
So all this blacklisting, oh, I don't want to do too much, I don't want people to see me to be cringe. What might be cringe to one person might not be cringe to another
Another
person.
person.
See hair vendors before nobody
Is saloon hair like, but now like we
you
have
have to
celebrity
dance.
hairstylists,
Exactly.
you
You have to
know.
dance on Instagram. You have to put yourself,
Do
do
you don't have
art.
to, I don't think you don't have to dance. You
I
don't
don't know
have
why
to
they
dance.
keep
If you don't know
shading.
how to dance, you
I
don't
don't
have
know
to
why they
dance.
keep shading Funke Akindele for.
No, but you can shade her forever. But like,
But
she
what
is
she
one of
does
the
is not
greatest in
cringe.
Africa. I
Exactly.
knew Funke Akindele. I didn't even know she did. You know, I need
Yeah,
to
yeah.
know. I didn't know
BC.
she was the one.
No, she has
I
always been
didn't
the
know.
one.
Like, we have been watching her work for years.
Mhm.
Like, and now she has also, like, that's one woman that has been able to keep up with like every single evolution. As
Mhm.
creatives, people don't understand that you need to evolve.
Mhm.
You cannot keep doing the same thing for 10 years and expect to keep being the same way.
Mhm. You
I
have to
mean,
evolve.
Beyonce
You have
is
to
now
evolve.
doing, she's now doing like day in the
Content.
life. Beyonce is doing day in the life. Like like the most shocking thing I've seen, was it this year or last year, was when Femi Otedola, he brought out his book
Mhm.
and he was dancing on Instagram with his daughter
You
to
have
sell
to
it.
you have to put us, even though lawyers cannot dance, because you have to protect the sanctuary of the
Mm,
courts.
mm,
You have
mm,
to be
mm,
prim and
mm.
proper. We might not, but
Oh.
then again, we have ways, and also lawyers are not they are restricted in a way from advertising or soliciting and all of
Yeah.
that. So we have ways to like promote ourselves and put ourselves
I
out
think
there.
doctors as well, or like
Doctors have that.
dentists
Yeah,
and some
yeah,
of
yeah.
them.
So we have certain ways. So we can just do like content on, oh, this, that, and people will reach out to you that, oh, I like, because from
Educative
that
content.
content, you are trying to tell someone that they have a problem that they know they don't have, and you have the solution to solve that problem.
Another thing I would say is, I think more like videographers, graphic designers,
Mhm.
photographers, basically everybody that works behind the camera should definitely get on LinkedIn.
Oh yeah,
If you are
sure.
in the entertainment industry, if you are a creative and you're not on LinkedIn in 2026, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. You think that because LinkedIn, people think Instagram is the pressure. I'm like, have you been on LinkedIn? Like, people are posting vacation pictures. Like, I know about Cannes Festival because of LinkedIn.
Mhm.
And mind you, Cannes Festival this year is solely focused on the creators, is focused on
So why are
creators.
creators not talking about it?
I think that people just don't understand that this is now the new wave. You know how at some point it was dancing, doing TikToks.
Mhm.
Now, if you're a serious creative and you want to be taken seriously, you need to get on LinkedIn. You need to
Connect.
document your creativity,
Mhm.
because the power of documenting your creativity, if we're doing a podcast called So Creative,
Mhm.
why are you not documenting your creativity? Because the whole point of this podcast is for you. So if you are important enough for the British Council to decide that they want to bring people from all over the world to help you, if you already don't have what is documented, how
Mhm.
can you even tap into this
If you don't
knowledge?
put yourself out
If you don't
there.
even have the foundation, because I'll tell you something, like a couple days ago I saw a photographer on LinkedIn. I was very shocked. I didn't know that they were there, even though I believed in this. I just haven't seen it because maybe my algorithm or something.
Mhm.
And he took pictures of Tony Elumelu's
Melu.
wife. And in my mind I was thinking, wow, I would really love to work with him. And yes, it was because he took pictures of Tony Elumelu's
Mhm.
wife, to be precise. But my point is, he documented it. The way he told the story made me feel like, you know what,
Mhm.
is beyond photography, because creatives feel like you're just selling a skill. But
Mhm.
no, you're selling emotions, you're selling safety, you're selling security,
Mhm.
you're selling legacy. You do understand that you are the reason why the world stays the way it is. The
Mm-hmm.
reason why the logo is here is because someone designed it. The reason why, like, do you understand? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what you do is so emotional, it's so powerful, like it's so spiritual. Like, you literally imagine things and they come to life. Someone imagined this outfit and it's here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, your ideas matter, and you need to really hold on to that. Like, that's what the So Creative podcast is about. And I'm your host, Retirement Afro Hair Goddess. And this is our gorgeous entertainment lawyer, Janice Odoye. And I mean, as you can tell, we can keep going for days. But just to recap this episode, we spoke about a lot of things. And remember, I think the top, let's just give them like top 5 things, like, to wrap up the episode. Like, number one, the one thing you need to know is you need to register your business.
Business.
What's number two?
Trademark.
Trademark, meaning that if your name is Chris Vans, that's your trade, that's your main company.
Yeah, your
Now,
brand. What
on
people know
now,
you
yes,
for.
yes, so now, but like, now people know you as Vans. Now you trademark Vans because that's the one, right?
Yes.
You see, because I'm also learning. I'm trying to make sure that I understand first so I can teach other people. And number three,
Get a
read.
lawyer.
Read everything. Research. You want to get managed, you want to get signed, go and understand, like, what it means to be signed. Go and read what management is about. Go and understand the value of what you even bring. Itemize and list everything. Then four, get a lawyer. Before you even step into the room, get a lawyer. Yes, you don't have money, there are lawyers that work on pro bono. Like, you just need to state your case. Five, are we on four or five?
Five. Yeah, on five.
Five, make sure that your contract is proof. And in the event that you realize that your contracts aren't reflecting, like what you're getting, lawyer up. Don't be scared, but do not go on social media. Like, you probably ruin your brand reputation as well. And that's on So Creative Live. Thank you so much for tuning in. Jana, do you have anything else you want to add to that?
Okay, well, I don't have so much, but thank you guys for watching me. So, can I talk about my social media?
What? Of course you
Yeah,
can.
so
Like, cause how would they find you? Cause clearly, I
I
already
have to
told.
like seek
I'm your first. I'm
permission.
your first client.
No problem. So you guys can follow me on Instagram, Janet Odunoye. I'm also on YouTube where I have a channel dedicated to music creative. I talk about music publishing, the legal side of music business. I have so many videos you can learn from. My YouTube is Janet Odunoye. LinkedIn as well, Janet Odunoye. You can always reach out to me for your legal needs. You are not supposed to advertise, but you can always reach out for me for anything. Thank you
No,
so
but at
much.
the end of the day, is it only if you have issues that they can reach out to you?
No, for anything, for legal advice, for any help, you can always reach out to me. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. This has been absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much, Queen. See you on the next episode. Don't forget to watch the last episode as well, because we spoke about funding and how you can basically attract international and global partnerships. And on this episode, we also speak about, like, the legal infrastructure of creatives. The next episode is even going to be juicier. So stay tuned and see you next time. I'm your humble host, Reta Mandara for Her Goddess, and this is So Creative
Thank you guys.
podcast brought to you by
Bye.
the British Council. Bye.
Bye.
Oh yeah. Are we off?